Hi there. Welcome to the From Lab to Launch podcast by Qualio, where we share inspiring stories from the people on the front lines of life sciences. Tune in and leave inspired to bring your life-saving products to the world.
Welcome back to another episode of From Lab to Launch by Qualio, where we introduce you to today's innovators in life sciences. I'm Meg, your host, and today we're excited to welcome a female power player in this special episode for Women's History Month 2026. It's clear that even in 2026, women remain underrepresented in the STEM community. From advancing precision medicine to strengthening sustainable lab practices, women continue to make notable impacts on the research community and global health. So we're excited to introduce you to Noreen Hong, the VP and General Manager of Thermo Fisher Scientific's Growth, Protection, and Separation business. Other than 3 years at quality and regulatory consultancy, Noreen has spent her entire career in Thermo Fisher Scientific, with roles stretching from account and product management to senior directorial roles across the last 28 years. With degrees in both biomedical engineering and business administration, Noreen sits with confluence of the scientific and the commercial. She's passionate about two things: making life science labs more sustainable and helping women and underrepresented groups advance in technical fields. Thank you so much for joining us today, Noreen.
Thanks so much for having me, Meg. I really appreciate your time.
Well, let's hop into our questions today. Why have you spent so much of your career at Thermo Fisher Scientific?
Yeah, when you actually say it, sounds like a long time, doesn't it? It's gone by really quick. I've spent a long career at Thermo Fisher, partly because it's a place that's consistently challenged me while also giving me the support and mentorship to grow. I mean, even after more than 20 years and actually leaving and coming back, what's kept me here is the passion of our colleagues, of the passion that they have for the mission, for helping our customers make the world healthier, safer, and cleaner. And it's just not something that we say, it's really kind of embedded into how we work every day. And I'd say the other big reason is the focus on people as a company, right? The company truly invests in developing talent, which is kind of how I've grown into this role and had the long-standing career that I've had here. And that's been a meaningful impact for me and why one of the reasons why I want to give back to others.
That's so great. Now, I know you're traveling today, Noreen, but can you walk us through a typical day for you?
I don't think it's that exciting. Unfortunately, with tons of Teams meetings since COVID, I feel like many others, probably in different industries, I'm just in meetings quite often. I think what we really try to do though is make time for our customers, which is one of the reasons why I'm out here in Germany this week. Also meeting some of our R&D teams and working on some projects as well as new product introductions on new products that we can launch, right? That help us move our products forward and advance certain technologies. So my day is pretty boring, as my kids would say. I literally am on meetings all day, but I get to work with different cross-functional teams and sprinkled with that, customers. And if I'm lucky, I constantly meet and learn new things, right? So that's really how my day looks.
Thanks for sharing that. Noreen, what do companies need to do to help women and other underrepresented groups thrive in life sciences? Is it a cultural shift that needs to happen or something bigger?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. It's something that we think about a lot. I think part of it is cultural, but it's also about how companies think about talent and opportunity. I think organizations need to be open-minded in how they evaluate candidates and a little bit more flexible about the requirements they put into job descriptions. I think sometimes we unintentionally narrow the pool by expecting someone to check every single box, when in reality, great leaders and innovators often grow into roles. I think at the same time, though, I'd encourage women and other underrepresented groups to take the leap and apply. Even if you don't meet every requirement, you don't have to check 100% of the box, right? But if you meet 60 or 70% and you're really excited about the opportunity, you should really go for it. Really, lastly, when companies really value potential and diverse perspectives and people feel confident raising their hand for opportunities, that's when you really start to see more women and other groups thrive in life sciences.
I couldn't agree more. From our Lab to Launch audience, it comprises a lot of life science professionals across the globe who are interested in hearing about inspiring life science stories. Do you have any messages specifically for our female listeners to inspire them?
Yeah, Women History Month is a great moment to recognize the impact that women are actually making across life sciences, not just in research, right? But in how we rethink problems and create new solutions for our customers. I think one of the things I'm most proud of is seeing leaders on my team challenge longstanding assumptions. For example, one of my leaders recently took a very different approach to how we support customers in our market. And instead of following the traditional model, she stepped back, questioned the status quo, and built a new solution that better aligned with how our customers actually work today. It wasn't the easiest path, and it meant breaking a few old norms, but the result was an innovative approach that strengthened our customer relationship and helped us protect and grow the business. So, to me, that's what progress often looks like. So, my message would be willing to think different, take smart risks, and create solutions that move science and our customers forward.
I love that advice. Noreen, looking back on your career, what advice would you give your younger self just starting out in this space?
One thing that I have really thought about this and actually tell my kids, and I wish it's easier said than done, but trust your instinct. I think earlier in my career, I constantly second guessed, and even still today, sometimes I actually second guess, right? But I think what I've learned over time is that experience builds confidence, but your perspective and judgment have value much earlier than you actually think. So don't be afraid to share your ideas, ask questions, or take an opportunity that feels a little bit outside your comfort zone. And when I really reflect on what I've done, the moments when I stretched myself and felt really kind of uncomfortable was where I learned the most and where my career really started to grow.
That's great. Yeah, I think operating in that uncomfortable is really hard for a lot of people, but it's where that growth really happens.
Yeah, no, it is, right? Because I think it's super scary, right? And if it feels scary and it feels like it makes you nervous, that's probably also excitement, right? And so if you were always comfortable, you're probably just doing something that you've done before. So the discomfort is probably a good challenge.
Yeah, it's great advice, especially for our kids. I'm a mom as well. Uh, can you share a moment with us when you had to make a tough decision and what was that outcome?
I think we all make really, there's points of our career and life that, we're always, battling up a tough decision. I think when I think about it, one of the toughest decisions I've had to make as a leader throughout my whole career is involves talent. When someone on a team is underperforming or isn't the right fit for what the business needs, those situations are never easy. And honestly, that doesn't get easier no matter how many years you've been managing people. I always try to invest the time first, right? So coaching, giving feedback, and making sure the person has the support to improve. But sometimes, even after those efforts, it really becomes clear that it's just not the right fit. So at that point, you have to make a difficult decision. And you need to consider that it's not just for that individual, but for also the health of the business and the morale of the broader team. So those are never easy moments, but they're also an important part of leadership and something that I've kind of grown to learn how to do with grace and respect of the teams as well as the individual.
I think doing that with grace and after that, that coaching is great too. Like sometimes that means that they go find an opportunity that they're better suited for as well. So
Yeah, I think sometimes we always get concerned about, oh my gosh, we're putting them out or disappointing that person. But I've really noticed when you are transparent and have honest conversations, and when you actually ask people who might not be doing so great in a role, are you really having fun, right? They're kind of like, no, I'm not really enjoying this, right? And then you kind of go, okay, well, what do you enjoy, right? And let's help you find something that you're passionate for because often when you're passionate about something, you thrive in it, right? So I think the work that we do is super important, but what's most important is are you having a good time? I know that sounds really cheesy sometimes, right? But if you don't enjoy what you're doing, it's going to show and you probably aren't going to be happy in it. So really make sure that you pressure test yourself of whether or not you're having fun.
love that advice, making sure you're having fun too. life's too short not to have a little bit of fun no matter what you're doing.
Exactly.
Well, as we discussed before we started recording, I am a quality professional myself, and so I always like to know how can labs affordably transition to more sustainable operations without compromising quality?
Yeah, this is a good question. I think one practical place for labs to start is by looking at the equipment they already have, right? And ask yourself, how old is it? And how old is the technology behind it? Many newer instruments are designed to be more energy efficient, so upgrading older equipment can actually lower your operational costs while also supporting sustainability. It's also important to stay open to the new technologies being built into products today and how sustainability is part of that design. So, for example, we recently launched a new line of centrifugation that uses non-fluorinated gas as an example, right? It's a natural gas, which is more sustainable option while also delivering improved performance. Another area that's becoming really powerful is data and traceability. So, the ability to use data to monitor equipment, anticipate maintenance, and improve efficiency helps lab make better decisions, reduce your downtime, and run more efficiently overall. So, investing in equipment that supports that kind of visibility can really help future proof your lab without compromising the quality. Hopefully, that helps.
That does, yeah. I'm always curious how, we can keep quality but still be sustainable and think about the environment in the long run as well. And on that note of laboratory technology, how has the technology changed in the laboratory environment and what do you still want to see change?
Yeah, if you think about how we live today, right? Everyone has a smartphone and access to information right at their fingertips, right? Things like finding answers, learning something new, or even getting directions are just overall easier than they used to be. And I think those same expectations have naturally made their way into the labs. Scientists like yourself, right, want equipment that's intuitive and it's connected, tools that make their jobs easier so they can focus on the science rather than managing the equipment. Looking ahead, I'm excited about how technologies like AI and more connected lab workflows will continue to improve efficiency and reduce downtime. And alongside that, there's a growing focus on sustainability, obviously, right? Developing more energy efficient products and solutions to help operate labs more responsibly while still delivering the product performance that our scientists needs.
Right. And kind of piggybacking on that, what excites you most about the future of life sciences in general?
I think the speed of all the things that we are seeing, right? So, the future of science is just so fast. Technology is just changing the way we work and discover. If you think about, we just talked about the age of smartphones really shifted that expectation, right? Suddenly we have information, tools, connectivity always readily available. At the same time, robotics and automation have also made so many processes faster and more efficient. Now that we're entering another big shift with AI, which is already changing how we live. I don't know about you, but I use ChatGPT, enterprise quite often, right? I didn't think that I would use it at all. And I find now that it's really helpful in everything I do and also helps me learn faster. So what's exciting is to see how all these technologies, right? Automation, connectivity, AI, and who knows what the next new thing will be, how these will all start coming together in our labs. I think the potential to help our scientists move faster and analyze data in new ways. And ultimately, right, helping them accelerate discoveries is incredibly super powerful. And I think we're just at the beginning of what we can really look at what the future might look like, right? I think we're right at the tip of it and some exciting times to come.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The velocity at which things are moving is just increasing month over month, it seems like, with AI powered technologies and
Yeah,
connectivity.
if you asked me even like as early as 6 months ago, will you really be using ChatGPT? I'd be like, oh no, not at all. But the fact that it could do images, it could do so many different things, it could, you know, um, help you with research so much faster and just to digest information, it's pretty powerful. So when you really put that all together as to how do we think about this for the lab, how do we think about it as we put it into our products or software? There's so much more that we can do that will help speed, discoveries that much faster and help patients and customers, a lot faster.
Yeah. faster discoveries mean hopefully
Mhm.
solutions, cures, treatments in the hands of patients sooner too. Noreen, what's the plan for, say, the next 5 years? Where do you want to see yourself and Thermo Fisher Scientific be in 5 years?
Yeah, 5 years sounds like a really long time from now, but at the same time, so did in 20 years ago, right? Time moves really fast. I think I'm really excited to see how technology, as we talked about, continues to transform the lab. We've already seen how it's taken us right now and how, all the AI and technology is starting to reshape how we approach complex scientific problems. I think we'll see more of these technologies come together faster in the lab, and then how, it really helps our scientists be more efficient and focus on the science. I think, the other thing too, I think sustainability will continue to be a major shift across the industry. We're already seeing more focus on designing products that are more energy efficient or less, or use of less hazardous chemicals, right? Reducing emissions from manufacturing, using more recyclable or biodegradable packaging, and thinking about end of life disposable for our products, right? So labs are also looking more closely at the suppliers that they partner with and want transparency around sustainability goals and environmental impact. So for Thermo Fisher, the opportunity for us is to continue leading in both innovation and sustainability, developing technologies to help our customers advance their research while operating more efficiently and responsibly. And I guess personally, I'd love to continue supporting and developing the next generation of leaders, especially encouraging more women to pursue and grow their careers in science and technology. I think there's so much more opportunity ahead, and making sure we're building diverse and strong teams will be an important part of shaping the future.
You've certainly been inspiring me and hopefully our female listeners as well, Noreen. Our last question is more of a fun one. I love to ask all of our guests if we ran into you at a bookstore or at your local library, in what section would we find you?
Adventures and mystery, Meg. I love a good book that like is a who done it, or what's that problem that I'm trying to solve. So I do gravitate to that, and these days there's so many great shows as well that books have now come to Netflix shows. So there's so much to actually occupy my time when I'm not at work, right? So yeah, adventures and mystery for me.
Do you like to solve the mystery before the book
I
ends?
do. I am
Okay.
that. Yes, I'm that person who I'm like, oh, it has to be this, right? And so, as my husband always jokes, he hates watching movies with me because I'm like, oh, they did it. This is what happened. And he's just like, could you not do that? And then he's just like, how did you know? And I'm like, I don't know, but isn't it great that I'm right? So it's always fun to actually have good mysteries and solve them if you can.
Yeah. Problem solver in life and career, it sounds like, Noreen.
I guess so. I guess so.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Where can those who want to follow along with your journey and find you and connect and learn more?
I'm on LinkedIn, right? And you can always reach out to me anytime. I'd love to make the connection. And if I can help in any way to, help further or grow somebody's career or support them, please feel free to reach out.
We'll get your LinkedIn posted in the show notes. Thank you again, Noreen, for
Sounds
joining us
great.
on this special episode.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time, Meg. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right. That's our recording.
Thank
Any
you. Hopefully that was
questions?
okay.
No, that was.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of From Lab to Launch, brought to you by Qualio. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe and give the show a positive review. It really helps us out. For more information about Qualio, our guest today, or to be a guest on a future episode, please refer to the show notes. Until next time.